Okay, hi kids, nice to see you. Welcome to the start of our new writing unit on narrative. Now, you were going to be doing fiction writing. That means made up writing. That means you're going to get to write about whatever you want. Could be you're going to be writing mysteries, science fictions. You might write a realistic fiction. Could be something about going on a story about riding a bike. But this is story writing. Okay, made up fiction. One of my favorites, where your imagination can really go. Now, what we're going to do this week is we're going to learn some ways to map out your story. Okay, that means to make a structure. Now, if I look around my garage, I can see a structure. It's all the big wooden frames keeping up the roof, hopefully. And your story is going to have a structure too. Most stories follow a pretty similar pattern, and we're going to look at that pattern today. Some people call it a structure, some people call it the plot, P-L-O-T. Either one, it's the way the story is built up, and we're going to show you how to do that. Now, got some IT problems? We're just going to work through it. So you just got to concentrate and just go for it. Now, I'm going to pull up our great, I think you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to pull up our Google Classroom. Here we go. This is going to be our first lesson, and we're going to be looking at what we call the story mountain today. So hopefully you've all opened this already. Hopefully you've already watched Plot Mountain. I'm not going to play the video of when you can just click on the video to have a look at. It's just a little YouTube thing. Gives you an idea on what happens in the plot of a story. Now, here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to pull this up, and there it is. Here is our, let's pull that down a little bit. Here is our story map, or our plot, or our story mountain, some people like to call it. Some people like to call it a story river. It doesn't matter. It's just a structure that pretty much every story on the planet that's ever been told or created or ever will be is similar to this in some regards. Now, you can either print this off because you're going to need this today, or you can either draw it. Now, what I'm going to do is this. My printer seems to have decided to run out of ink today, which is not very helpful. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to draw it. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to draw. And you can get to be, I know you guys like to be creative and you love to draw. So this, hopefully, there we go, is what you can get to see. Now, here we go. Mine's not going to be as nice as yours if you want to draw it, and I'm going to do this straight away. Oh, look. Guess what that is? You got it. There's my story mountain, and I'm feeling imaginative, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a little bit of snow on the top. Okay, just like that. Now, hopefully you can see that. Oh yeah, you can see that easily. Okay. And here's what we're going to start with. Every story starts with, down here, here's going to be our introduction. Okay, and in our introduction, we're going to be, this is where the story starts, and you're usually introduced to two things. The characters, or character, and what we call the setting. This is where the story takes place. Okay, so maybe it takes place in your living room. Maybe it takes place on the moon. Who knows? But that's what the setting is. Okay, our second thing is this. This is called the build-up. Okay, this is where something starts to happen. We start to learn more about the characters, and things happen. Things start to happen. There's some action usually. I'm going to come up to the top of my mountain. On top of this mountain, here is the most important part. Every story has some kind of problem. Some people like to call it this word. A dilemma. Oh no! I've lost the keys to my car. I can't get in. Oh no! It started to rain and I didn't bring an umbrella. Okay? A problem happens. Okay? And you can think of a million problems that could happen. Oh no, I'm flying in my starship and I'm running out of oxygen. That's the problem or dilemma. Excuse me. And then what happens is that the problem is resolved, and we call this the resolution. Okay, or resolved. Some of you who are looking at the word resolved will see this. The word there inside is this, solve. And that's what happens. How is the problem going to be solved? How is the problem going to be solved? Oh no, my spaceship is running out of oxygen. How might that be solved, be resolved? Well, maybe their friend comes along and they've got spare air tanks in their spaceship and they give them the air. Problem solved. And then your ending. Okay, how is your story going to end, or how is this story going to end? Now, what you're going to have a go at today, and I don't want to talk for too much longer, is I have set you. Okay, so that, in fact, we'll just go back to this. There's a story mountain. You can see we start with our down here with our introduction, where you're introduced to the main characters in the setting. Where does your story, or where does the story take place? Then there's some build-up where we learn more about the main characters. Then it comes up here, right at the top. What's the problem in the story? And then we're going to come down here. How does the problem get solved? And in the end, how does it end? Okay. So really quickly, sometimes this might be a little tricky. What your task is going to be today is to actually go onto Epic, and I've assigned you a book. And today you're going to read this book. I'm going to go back to... you are going to read The Rainbow Mystery by Jennifer Dusling. It's assigned to you on Epic, so you have to log into Epic, go to epicbooks.com, sign in. And once you've signed in, you can straight away look at the books that have been assigned on the very top. And I've assigned you 3 books. We're going to look at 3 different. We're going to do this activity on 3 different types of book today. 3 different genres this week. Sorry. Okay. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So same activity, 3 different books. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing the same activity? So that you start to understand the process, so that you start to understand what's needed at each section, and to see different ways of doing it. Because next week you're going to be starting to write your own stories. So what we want you to do is to have lots and lots of experience of looking at all these different ways to do it, and then you'll be able to do it yourself. I'll have a go. So, really quickly, if I was going to do this for Mercy Watson to the rescue, well, if I was going to do my main characters, well, probably Mercy is my main character. Okay, and then Mercy's mum and dad. Okay, and then we could even have the sisters in there as well. But Mercy Watson, I'll write Watson there. Main character. Where does it take place? Maybe I'll use a different colour. Yes, I do. Takes place in their houses. Oh, you can't see that very clearly. There we go. The orange doesn't work very well. So, in our houses. Okay, great. Well, the build-up, well, we learn about Mercy. So, right here, we learn about Mercy and her family. Yeah, we know what she likes. If you remember, what does she like on toast? Butter. Yes, me too. It's making me hungry thinking about that. Now, if you think about what the problem is, okay, the problem, all the way at the top. If you remember, the mum and dad. So right here, mum and dad. Stuck in their bed, and the bed is falling through the roof. Now obviously I'm just writing quickly, not neatly, in a big fat pen, which takes up a lot of room. You don't need to do that. Now, in the end, how is it solved? Well, Mercy solves the problem. Okay? If you remember, the firemen are called. Okay? Firemen are called. Oops. Firemen are called, and they come and rescue them. Okay, so that's the problem being solved. And in the end, what happens? Well, they have a big meal. If you remember, they all sit around that table, and guess what happens? Oh, there's lots of toast. And then if you remember, there's lots of sleeping, isn't there? Oh, and I even remember, I think if you remember, this kind of starts and ends in a kind of similar way, doesn't it? With them singing, okay? And Mercy sleeping on the bed, them thinking Mercy is fabulous. So, here's what I want you to do today. You're going to go to epic.com. You're going to either have a piece of paper, or preferably a piece of paper. I want you to keep this, record it. So you can either print off the one that I showed you. I'm going to come and stand here. So you can either print off the one that I showed you, the story mountain, or you can just draw it yourself. You saw me do it. You don't need to print it off. Okay? So all of you can do this. You need to go to epic.com. Read the book that I've assigned to you. Have your story mountain in front of you. As you're going to talk about, number one, who are the characters? Where does it take place? What did you learn about them in the second box? The build-up. What happens? What do you learn about the characters? In the third box, what's the problem? Or the dilemma. Oh no, something happens, and something will happen. Number 4, how is the problem solved? That's called a resolution. And then finally, how does it end? Okay, have a practice. Good luck with it. Share what you've found out with your buddy. Okay, maybe share your story mountain with your buddy. Maybe you guys have got some slightly different things, but that's something you can talk about and discuss. There's going to be parts that your partner's going to pick up on and go, "Oh yeah, I didn't think of that." You can add that. You can add that to your story mountain as well. So this is practice, 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 so that when we come to write, when you come to write, you're going to really have some clear ideas about how well you can do this. Okay? Go for it.